Whatever it is that you really want, chances are it has something to do with you and something to do with someone else. And so when we get in these situations, we invariably have somebody that comes to us and they give us the advice, well, you just need to build some rapport. And so we kind of walk off and we're irritated and we say, yes, Karen, I know that. But as we walk off and Karen walks off, we wonder, okay, well, what does that mean? What does rapport mean? And how do I build rapport in a way that is consistent, that I can really make sure that it's gonna work? And so whether it's in a sales training or in personal life, usually when we ask for advice on how to build rapport, we're told, oh, that's easy. You just find something in common. And so we're told to find something in common, and so we go to that person or that prospect or that girl or guy we'd like to go on a date with, and we ask questions and questions and questions and questions. And we hope, against hope, that maybe we'll find something in common, and that something in common will create rapport, and that rapport will help to lead us to the result that we want. But what happens if we can't find anything in common? What do we do then? Or what about this? Who here has ever spoke with someone and you find that thing in rapport that you both have and you're so excited? You have a pet parrot, your client has a pet parrot, and you just know that this sale is gonna happen. But the rapport, for whatever reason, doesn't seem to develop, and you still don't have rapport, even though you found that thing in common, and it was a good thing. It was a different and exciting thing. So what is it that's happening there? What is it that's happening with rapport, and how does this really work? How can we put this into a system that can really work for our business and personal life each time? Or at least it's not a magic trick, but the next best thing, really giving us the best shot for rapport. So to understand this, I find that sometimes instead of just looking at the micro, it helps to step back and look at the picture as a whole. In the 1950s, there was a gentleman in Russia that invented something called Kirlian photography. And in Kirlian photography, he was able to photograph the human body, and he saw energy coming off of the body. It was coming off in different colors and patterns depending on how the person was thinking and feeling in that time. It was different from one person to the next, but he definitely found energy, frequencies coming off of those people. And to understand this in an even better context, let's look at something that we're more familiar with, which is the telephone. With the telephone, how it works is that I have a phone number, you have a phone number, and for us to be able to connect, we have to have each other's phone numbers, which put each other on the same frequency. And what happens when we have the wrong number? We've all had it happen. Maybe we call someone different, maybe it's a magic jack number or unknown number, but it doesn't work. We were not able to get on the same frequency and communicate as we wanted to. So the good news is, if this is how telephones work and we just need to be on the same frequency, and if human beings have frequency, maybe it can work that way for us too. Maybe what rapport is just being on the same frequency. And so I put this into a system that we can understand, that we can replicate every single time, and it goes like this. X minus Y equals rapport. X equals us, Y equals the other person. We are on a frequency. That other person is also on a frequency. These frequencies are different. How we're thinking, how we're feeling, how we're moving, how we're breathing, how we're talking, everything. It's a combination, but we're on some sort of level of existence, and we've seen from these photographs that they're individual and that they really are there. This is something that's based in science. So if we are here and the other person is here and we're on different frequencies, the question would really be, how do we take the difference between where we are and where the other person is? Because if we took that difference, we would be able to be on the same frequency and we would be in perfect rapport. So to understand how to do this, let's take a step back and look at how communication actually works. When we're told to find something in common, typically, what they're talking about is words. Find something in common. Find something in common with your words. But we know that words are only 7% of communication. We know that 33% is tone. And we know that about 66% is body language. So what that means is even if we matched up every single word perfectly and created perfect rapport with our words as people tell us to do, we would still at a maximum only have 7% total rapport. Which means if we look at the other side, that 93% of what's going on in terms of rapport and communication and connection is not there. So if we're missing 93% of what's happening that can create this rapport to help us to get what we want, that is a big, big problem. But here's the good news. We don't have to have those words in common. Let me take one step back. We already have so much in common with each other. How do I know this? We are human beings. We feel fear. We feel excitement. We feel frustration. We have things that we're proud of about ourselves and things that we're more anxious about. We have things that we like to do. We have families, some of which is going better and some of which might be going worse. We have romantic lives, some parts of which may be going better and some worse. We have friendships, which have good elements and bad elements. We have things that we feel highly of ourselves and things that we don't. We have aspirations and we have fears that those things might not work out. So the great news is whenever you're going to talk to anybody about anything that you would like to persuade them or just get in some sort of rapport for some reason, the great news is we already have so much in common and you don't have to find the words to do it. On top of that, we can match up everything else. Let me show you what I mean. You can look at the person's feet, which way are they pointing, their legs, their stomach, what's going on with their arms, their elbows, their hands, their shoulders, what's going on with their head, where are they looking, what's going on with their eyes, are they speaking slower or more quickly, are they speaking in high volume or low volume, are they speaking very fast or should you slow down? If we can be very aware of where we are and very aware of the frequency that other person is on, everything going on with their communication, their body, their tone, and yes, also their words, we can sync up to that. We can match what's going on with them. We can mimic what we're seeing, and we can get onto that same frequency because we're communicating in the same ways. And you might be thinking, okay, Justin, well, this sounds a little bit crazy. What if they see me and I'm imitating what they're doing? I can tell you that I've never, ever had somebody stop me, and I do this a lot. I think it's partially because we don't know really what we're looking for. And I think it's partially because we're so caught up in ourselves that I just think a lot of things that have to do with the other person we might be missing. And so what does this mean? What does this mean big picture? What it means is we now have a system for rapport. We now have a system, which is the first step in getting anything we want. Whether in our professional lives with sales or our personal lives with maybe we want more dates or better love life with our husband or wife, or maybe we want to convince our kids that they need to start reading more or studying more, or maybe we want to convince our friends to go out with us because we want to have company, or maybe we want to convince our teacher or our manager to give us those days off or cut us some slack. But whatever it is, it's always, always, always gonna follow this equation. We have to have the awareness of what frequency we're on. We have to be very aware of their words, their body language, their tone. We have to try to match those up the best we can to take that difference between X, which is us, and Y, which is the other person. And when we subtract those differences, we're on the same frequency and we're in rapport. So now you know how rapport works. As a final note, as you're going out to pursue your dreams and get the things that you want in this life, it is very, very important to always do the right thing, to always act in integrity, to always be trying to help that person to get whatever it is that they want. Not only because it's the right thing to do, and you should be that right person, but understand that even if that's not a good reason for you, you cannot edit your body language and you cannot edit your tone. You can edit your words, but those other things are very hard to edit. So if you're coming with a false intention, the other person is going to see that incongruency with your body language and with your tone. And these techniques are actually not gonna work. They work the best when you are being honest, when you're being truthful, when you are being yourself. I'm excited to see how these things help you in your business life and your personal life. Now you know how rapport works. X minus Y equals rapport. Thank you.